important words in that sentence, my friend. Last game, a nightmare for both of these teams as they're coming off of a loss here. So the other thing I'm considering, how well are they bouncing back from that? There's not a lot of time, especially for DRX, who just lost to Top Esports. You're going to have to bounce back. You're going to have to figure out what went wrong, and you got to be ready to fight for this first seed. So I want to see, especially as we're loading into the game right now, how creative are they going to get? Are we going to get anything wild in the level ones, or are they going to play it closer to the vest?
Yeah, and who has the confidence to actually go for those aggressive plays? Because sometimes in these big games, you know this could be the difference between advancing to the semifinals or not, potentially, based on the tougher opponent. You know how important it is, and sometimes people will turtle up and play passive. Other people will step up, get aggressive, and be the difference maker for their team.
And it's great that you mentioned that, Azel, because back in 2016, we were in North America, and it was Edward Gaming versus H2K. It was a tiebreaker to determine who would get first in that group. And back then, it was Odo Omne top lane, and it was Deft on AD carry for EDG. And it was Odo Omne that was able to get the edge over his counterpart. What happened? H2K got first seed. They got Albus Nox Luna in the quarterfinals. They won 3-0 and made it to semis. Like, that first seed can make such a massive difference in terms of your qualification, and that can really shift the perception about you as a player, you as an organization, and your region if just qualifying for semis compared to a quarterfinals.
Well, and I'd just say, ending the group stage here on a win would do a lot to build confidence in Rogue for European fans, right? Because let's be honest, you know, this has been a very rough week. It is 1-8 right now for Europe in week 2. If you end this on a loss with your only win being that over GAM, people are going to have a lot of doubts about how they're going to be able to perform in that quarterfinal, especially given that they would have a very tough first seed from another group. But if you get this win, if you show that you can bounce back after what has been a tough day for Rogue so far, you really restore that faith. You get an easier matchup, and then who knows, the sky's the limit.
Alrighty, well, everybody is into their lanes. The minions have collided. Junglers are starting off on their respective blue buffs, so we expect them to be pathing in opposite directions here early on.
Something worth noting is that Comp is playing TP, so this is going to mean that we're going to see, I think, Rogue really trying to play heavily for push. If they can get push and non-stop shove in, then you can get really great face timings with the TP. The downside here is you're not playing cleanse, you're not playing heal, so if you do actually get hit by a binding, or if you do get ganked in these kind of combat situations, yeah, you're very likely just going to get locked down, trapped up afterwards, so it is kind of a little bit of risk versus reward here. But if Rogue can land their poke, can maintain an aggressive position here, that TP is so valuable for the resets.
And you saw a little bit there of what Caitlyn and Lux like to do. Hit him with the binding, follow up with a guaranteed damage of the built-over Peacemaker. Zek is at about 200 HP here in the mid lane. Larson controlling this matchup here for now. Zeka jumps in, but Malrang is immediately there. His counterattack forces the flash from the DRX mid.
What's interesting is I don't think that was planned by Malrang. He was just pathing from his bot side counts to his top side ones, and then he said, well, hang on a second. This guy looks like he's about to get level 3. Let's just hover here just in case, and they're able to get the flash out from Zeka. As we also see, a pretty even trade as Kingen will take that top lane tower shot, but overall, DRX off to a pretty good start in the early game.
Yeah, and I think Zeka's read. Oh, the trap.
That's the Wombo combo. Trimby walking away. He will not die to the Ignite. It's not strong enough to finish off 100 HP at this level.
Yeah, but he only has that one potion running, and that is going to be really tough for him to actually stay around here. Pyosik also heading down towards bot, you know, is on the Crux right now. I don't know that he'll look for any sort of a dive. They may just want to take a reset off of this, as Trimby has healed up quite a lot. But yeah, I think that Zeka's read was that Malrang starting bot, he would be up towards the red buff and stuff, so he was safe to kind of move forward and get aggressive there. But of course, Malrang just was around in mid, and is able to punish. No smite on either jungler, but they don't necessarily know that the other one doesn't have it. So it's going to be a fight here. One level advantage for Pyosik, though.
That's huge. The Vault Breaker just punching the snot out of him. Malrang has to try to get away with that safeguard over the wall. He'll survive, but it's control over the bot side river, control over the Scuttle Crab for Pyosik.
Securing those Krugs made the world of difference in that 1v1 matchup. The level 4 to level 3 really was the decider as DRX bot lane continue to apply pressure, but credit to Comp. He will stay even in farm for now. They have their eyes on King in here.
King Kingin.
That's big.
Okay,
He is
jumped
used.
in. Yeah, he already used his hook shot. Odoamne still trying to get away. Kingin, I don't think there's a whole lot of ways out of this one unless you pull off something wild. Not happening. First blood over to Rogue.
And that's a big blunder there from King, and his wave is in an awkward spot, and he is trying to push it underneath the tower, but he committed all of his skills to trading onto Odoamne, and the second that he did that, Rogue saw a window to punish. He should have known, though.
Previous scrap here early on. You know, Pyosik pushing out Malrang, and then Malrang looking for this this path up towards Scuttle, takes the Scuttle, gets the heal here.
Yeah.
And as you said, Betty, you know, they did know that he was going to be heading up towards that top side, so Kingin very greedy to try to reset the wave.
Well, that's the thing. From my perspective, it's a tough one to say who's at blame, because you could argue that, like, oh, Pyosik should be communicating. Jungler's gonna go to top crab, I just beat him on bot crab. Like, because like when you look at the minimap, the Gromp was respawning as well.
Yep.
So he's like, and it's only a small advantage for Rogue.
Let's go. We're back in the cave.
Yeah, and I agree with you. You know, it is a tough situation as a top laner, but at the end of the day, in those situations, you often just have to take the L, give up a few minions,
Right,
TP back, call up your jungler, help him to get you that reset.
Yeah.
But, you know, goes for the riskier play here, does get punished, and as a result, it is a slight lead for Rogue. Bot lane has been very even overall. You know, we saw Trimby get very, very low, but had the potions still in the inventory to really be able to heal it back up.
Yep. Not making himself too easy of a target down there for the bindings. You saw Beryl fling out one of those. The danger is getting hit with the binding, the follow-up with the Caitlyn trap, every subsequent skill shot having to hit you then because of how powerful that CC chain is. But Trimby and Comp will just continue farming these up. Comp is very low on mana right now as Pyosik sweeps his way through this bottom side river, potentially looking from an angle here, going into the enemy jungle. Malrang will clear out the wolves. He is level 4. Pyosik is level 5. Ballbreaker charging up, and Pyosik just turns it right back around on a Malrang, who lands his sonic wave, but will not take the cue. His mind's telling him no, and his body's telling him no.
Yeah, Zeka cheating down towards that bottom side as well would have been a really risky move to go. You can see Odo much better buy as a result, has the Hearthbound Axe, got the boots as well, so more expensive item, has the boots on top. Compared to really just the Sheen on the other side. Like the early recall there from Deft, you don't want to get trapped too heavily in these lanes against TP bot laners. You need to take the early recalls when that opportunity presents itself, because if you stick around too long and you get pushed in and they're able to actually go back to base, TP back, they can sometimes keep you really locked under your tower. So a good timing on the reset from Deft, not really going to lose much of anything. And Pyosik again hanging around on this bottom side. They have spotted Malrang as well as Trimby.
And remember, both these junglers are level 5, soon to be 6, and for Vi especially, it makes it so easy to just point and click, go in, make these plays happen. Panning back up in the top side here, you can see Kingin trying to fight back against Odoamne, but the power of the range continuing to be the advantage for the Gnar, like what you talked about, Isaac.
And it's kind of that move speed diff, right? Because a lot of where Gnar actually wins the trades is on the back end of the trade. Camille hookshots forward, you know, gets the Q3, has the passive up, and then it's really, oh, nice little binding.
Not quite enough to get the kill. The net didn't connect, so you don't get the extra headshot there at the end.
And Beryl didn't use the Ignite. If Beryl actually got the Ignite down on Comp, you have to think he's back to base at the very least, but does hold on to it. And now Malrang again down here covering the lanes.
Just a little bit of trading here in the mid lane as well. As you can see, Larson, half HP, but he's all right. Has his lost chapter. The buy from Zeka wasn't quite good enough to be able to get himself a lost chapter earlier as well. But down here in bottom lane, it's Trimby and Comp still just stuck underneath this turret. This is the reality of so many matchups into Caitlyn and Lux. This is where Caitlyn and Lux want to be, a very different look compared to the game where we saw this go up against the Draven and the Blitzcrank that just demolished it. And okay, what do you got?
Look at this. Okay, so they pinged out the ward. He knows the ward's in the side brush, so Pyosik is wrapping around it. They tracked where Odoamne dropped the ward. They're going to look for the all-in on the mini Gnar.
Here we go. Odoamne, where are we going? No,
Okay.
we're not. Here we go, right back into the river.
Walk in the lane, look at him. Odoamne's like, hello. Coach says, hello. And then both will part ways. I think one of the scariest things is that they don't have full information as to where Malrang is right now. You can see pings right now coming down onto the Raptors because they believe that he might be there. Larson needs to go back to base. This is a very big window for DRX to try and force something, but Odoamne gets a good trade at top. So now he's going to clear out this wave, and Rogue is going to say, we're probably strong enough to contest this Herald, and I feel like that they know that it's going on. Malrang has information. He's going to come over the wall. Here we go.
Larson's not here, though, and Kingin has TP, so this would be a very risky contest.
Still at 2,000 HP. Eyeball gets proc there. DRX playing this very, very patiently. One more eyeball proc. There it is. Punch it, pick up the eye. DRX, get it, and get out.
And I gotta give credit to Odo, because he never had vision on the Vi, who was looking for that wraparound gank, but he's playing far enough back in the lane. He had the read that he could be in danger there.
Yeah.
You know, kind of inferred that it could be happening, and just based on the fact that, as you said, they don't know where Malrang is, Vetty, and he's pretty far back to the tower, so he could still hop and flash towards that tower. Even if you go for that ulti on Vi, if you get pulled into the turret, you're gonna be in trouble.
Eyes as well on what the junglers are up to, as Pyosik is now pathing towards the bot side of the map, and with the reset coming in from Comp and Trimby, this could be a window for Pyosik to actually path towards the bot Dragon, which obviously you can see Rogue now understand that there's a window where they can move into the topside jungle. So pings are coming down, they're trying to figure out if the topside blue buff is unsecured, and maybe they can threaten a dive. Odoamne has just gone into Mega Gnar, so that window likely going to be unavailable, as he can't stack that up on the next wave, which is largely when they look to set up that play.
And even though Malrang is here, it's more of just a defensive option, making sure Odoamne can get this wave crashed in safely. Kingen jumps in after him there, finds some decent damage. Kingen flashing back out before Malrang is able to find a good kick angle, but he flashes in and gets it anyway. Kingen just keeps going in when Malrang is lying in wait, and that's going to be another kill over to Rogue. Meanwhile, bottom side, the Herald is dropped with only 2 plates remaining. So first turret goes over to DRX.
Yeah, that's big. Trying to get Deft ahead here, trying to accelerate him, and they want to walk this in. They want to get that second charge here. That is why Pyosik is actually posturing so aggressively. We'll see if they can actually do it. Not going to be able to, it looks like, because it's getting very low.
Yep, there it went, popped.
But this is exactly how you want to be playing Caitlyn lanes. Basically, you push, 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 get Herald, secure a tower, and then you move your Caitlyn everywhere. They can now swap their Caitlyn to mid, they can move their Caitlyn to top, and you just leverage her strong siege and basically inability to shut her down to secure as many early game advantages as possible. This is often why many teams, like the LPL and the LCK, would draft like Leona, they would draft Blitzcrank, because the only way that you can stop this ranged matchup is to be able to engage and shut it down.
And this is just, again, great timing here from Malrang. He's in the right place, right time, looks for the kick flash, you know, catches up the slowdown from the boomerang there, able to give another kill over to Odo. Excuse me, an assist there, has the 1 kill prior, but did pick up plates, and he's already on his Triforce. Look at Kingen, he's so far away from the Mythic, so Malrang really has been the difference maker in this one.
And talking about Mythics, when that turret was taken bottom, it was Deft getting the money. Kingen's in trouble. They just pop him. They drop him. It's Odoamne grabbing the kill. But now, what else is going to happen? DRX, they strike right back. They get 2.
We'll see if they continue now. Larson going to be pushed back here. DRX was in position to go for this. Nice sidestep from Larson, though. Will get safety, or will it?
Both got binded. Nicely done, but the follow-up isn't there from anybody else, so Larson gets away. It was a nice explosion onto Kingen to start it off, but DRX was ready to hit right back.
Really, it was a mid-diff. Like, Larson went over the wall and then left, whereas Zeka went over the wall and committed. He was full-on committed to this team fight, and he is the reason why DRX walk away with 2 kills. Now DRX find themselves with the gold lead, even though Rogue leading kills.
And this will buy a little bit of time here, you know, for Kingen to go down towards bot, try to collect some farm. We'll see if he can kind of farm himself back into this game, but great poke there onto Deft. Will land the ulti back onto Comp, but Deft is going to be set back to base here. He's getting very, very low and can't really afford to continue staying around.
Yeah, they're going to try to interrupt his back if they can. You can see both Comp and Trimby stepping up, but they can't go any closer to the turret. Def made sure we got back far enough. Malrang hanging around to see if maybe there's a blue buff to be taken away. Q timing is just a little bit slow there. Barrel underneath the turret by himself immediately clears the wave. Rogue wants to move up, but I don't know how well that's going to work. Trimby is burning, burned. Larson's ready to follow it back up. Zeka. So it's a 1-for-1 trade. Zeka finds Larson here in the river, but it's pretty easy for LeBlanc to be able to get away. Malrang safeguarding right back over the wall and kicking Zeka back where he came from.
Malrang plays that well, and it ends up being a 1-for-1 overall. I think securing that kill onto the jungler, though, they're quite happy to give up Trimby in that exchange, but Zeka once more.
Oh, he's gonna find it! No, not quite! And Comp barely gets away.
Oh my god, I can't believe Comp reacted to that. He was definitely not browsing the shop. He was hyper-focused, and the reaction speed needed to get away with his life there. Good play from Zeka, but a better one from Comp.
Yeah, it is the trade of flashes at the end of the day, but that delayed base. The problem here is that DRX has way more tempo. They're getting a lot done. You look at the map, top lane has to be answered by LeBlanc, so what happens mid? Up goes the Silas, he pushes that in, so you're losing plates on both sides. They knew that with this late recall that then got stopped from comp, Deft would take so many plates if you didn't go up to answer, so Larson covers, but it means they're gonna fall behind across the map.
Oh man, Deft going in there trying to use the ace in the hole plus Gale Force execution combo to maybe get a cheeky kill onto Larson, but it will not work. Meanwhile, back in mid, Pioshik said, hey man, I heard you don't have a flash, and Zeka gets a killing spree.
That was actually beautiful. Zeka taxiing to the creeps with his E, landing the Everfrost through the creeps onto comp there, locking him down, and again, not playing with that cleanse, not playing with that heal. The TP very useful, but in some of these situations, it does feel like he's maybe hurting for not having that combat summoner.
A very clean early game overall from DRX, the way they've moved around the map, the advantages that they've been able to secure. They're setting up for this Drake. A bit of a late first Drake overall, but let's have a look back at this play. Comp just uses E to get back into lane, and it's that easy.
Yeah.
You highlighted it. He used the E onto the minion to help close the gap, locked him down with the Everfrost. The chain CC was perfect, but this is something that Rogue is going to have to deal with later on. We talked about the single target lockdown that exists for DRX, and it's only going to get more and more dangerous as the game progresses.
And that's one of those things where it's honestly just a mental error, right? Like, you're using that E to get, what, 1 minion, right? You know,
get to lane faster even. Like,
yeah, it's just one of those situations where it's just not going to be worth it, right? But it is something that's very easy to do, where you just want to use your gap closer, you get back in, but DRX punish immediately off that one thing. If he just walked up, he would have the E to get back to the tower, it would be no problem.
It's pretty much the opposite of what you were talking about with the reaction time topside, where he used the flash to escape the death to Silas. There, he's completely focused, he's completely aware of the state of things around him. Here in mid lane, that lapse for a second ends up costing him with the E being down, and DRX have a 3-man push here in mid, trying to take down this tier 1 turret, grab themselves a second turret for the game. Looks like Rogue's not going to have a lot to say about it, as the minions can do enough damage to take it out. You can see 4 Rogue players around the area, 2 in the lane, 2 off to the side there in the jungle. You have to think that if the turret didn't go down quite as fast, they might have tried to make some sort of a play there, but it just doesn't happen. And now it's DRX controlling the river with a second Rift Herald spawned.
Absolutely. Still something working well, though, for Rogue, as Odo is quite a bit ahead, does have the tier 2 boots, has a kill gem on top of what his opponent has. They are matched now in Mythics, but Odo going to be feeling good in that 1v1, and if they can get him some vision, he can threaten this tier 1 tower. I think that Rogue is aware that they are up on this Herald, so we'll see if Odo can get some pressure down on that bottom side and look to really kind of exploit that advantage that him and Malmarang were able to build.
Oh boy, Odoamne getting stuck in the Hextech ultimatum. Zeka's showing up with a stolen LeBlanc ultimate. Odo throwing out the Mega Gnar, looking to take one with him, but he goes alone, and Zeka gets his 4th kill of the game.
That one hurts for Odo, so close to being able to get that kill in the 1v2, but the lane ward that was dropped, making all the difference as Zeka on that TP flank, and now tier 2 mid has been cracked. The Herald's gonna get a charge on the tier 3. Larson's not even here. They can continue the siege.
Yep, Malrang's at the chickens. Larson's in top lane. Odoamne's 6 feet beneath the ground. That tier 3 turret took a beating there as DRX build their lead up to almost 3,000. Kingen now sent back into the top side to deal with that. And boys, it took 17 minutes, but we will finally see the first Drake of the game go down. It's DRX looking to take it.
It's hard not to feel like it's just a mid-diff right now. When you compare the amount that Zeka has been roaming around the map compared to what we've been seeing from Larson, it always feels like the Larson is second to the play. He's not been able to find any real opportunities. He's currently sitting in the fog of war looking for a pick, but immediately he's going to disengage because he realizes the collapse is very real. Between 2 soul laners right now.
Oh boy, Larson getting away for now, but Kingen goes over the wall to follow him. Odoamne's waiting to back up his mid laner, but DRX has backup too. With both sides not having full information, everybody just goes home.
Yeah, and especially once that Gnar ultimate is stolen, you've got to be so careful about that Silas stealing the Gnar ult. It does incredible amounts of damage, and I mean, 17 minutes in, we're now at 18, but 17 minutes into the game, Zeka completed his second item, right? He's on 2 items, has 8 stacks on that. We'll see if he wants to upgrade to a book, but the Dark Seal giving him a lot of extra power, and we've seen how good Zeka is on these melee AP carries. has been a monster and has all of his playmaking kit ready to go with the Zonies and Everfrost.
Just love what we've been seeing from Pioshik as well, as he continues to attack these side lanes, constantly looking for picks. Larson, though, with the double chains. This is killable here.
Kingen flash, hook shot away. Larson cannot quite chase it down. Kingen is getting focused and beat up this game. That's sort of a bit of a silver lining here for Rogue, going up against what DRX has built. Odoamne dead for 25 seconds, and the top lane tier 1 falls. DRX continue pushing forward.
And something a little bit interesting here, Larson actually going for the Leandry's build, right? You know, this is a bit of more CDR with the Mythic passive. It is a bit higher DPS in these extended fights, but he's not going for a flat pen build against a team that is very, very squishy. So I must say I'm pretty surprised that he didn't go Luden's Shadow Flame, you know, Spell Pen Trifecta, but now he's going to be looking for Deft.
Deft getting away, though, using the Gale Force, the extra power of the active to get out of the range of the chain so he doesn't get locked down.
So we're starting to see Larson be a little bit more active on the map, which is definitely what we needed to see. And now we see this gank up towards the top side of the map, and just this repeated attack on the side lanes is just, it's so clean from DRX. Pioshik, he has his ultimate, and he knows that if he works with Kingen or he works with Zeka, it's very easy for them to get kills. And this is what we talked about, this single target lockdown. I was more worried about it later on into the fights, but Rogue don't get to leverage their mobility, and once again they find themselves in a position where they're just losing the game. Earlier on when they played against DRX, they watched the map fall apart around them, and now the same thing is happening where Pioshik is just getting the better of Malrang, and DRX are just taking objective after objective.
DRX looking for that tier 2 here in bottom. Larson and Tremby, they don't really have a whole lot to say about it, so there's more money in the pocket of DRX. 5,000 gold ahead. They've got the one Drake taken in the game so far. Everfrost towards Malrang there, but he's able to safeguard over the wall and stay away from that Silas with that devastating Gnar ulti that you were talking about, Isaac.
And DRX are just playing a beautiful game here. You know, snowballing this game so well. Pressure through bot with the Caitlyn Lux. The only kind of hiccup has been top lane. Pioshik in trouble now.
Pioshik may have been caught, but instead, it's the absolute artillery cannon of Deft and Barrel that turns it around and takes Malrang off the map.
Another kill going the way there. The first one now for Deft, getting further and further ahead. Zeka playing an incredible game. Pioshik going into this tank mythic. He knows his job is more the setup, more the support. Zeka on the bush here up top, but Rogue just don't have the confidence to try to look for the pick.
Rogue just feels so weak right now. Like, after that bot tower fell, you're sitting there and you're looking at this Rogue comp and you're like, what are you waiting for exactly, right? Because there's just so much missing, it feels like, on the side of Rogue. They don't have a reliable way to start off fights. They have poke on the side of LeBlanc and Ezreal, but in order to do that, you need to be set up around an objective, and you don't have any control. You don't have any push in top lane, you don't have any push in bot. And once again, we're just seeing Rogue fall short in the early game without any real answers or ways to come back in the mid game.
Yeah, it is tough, right? And they're clearly focusing all their vision up towards top, right up in this topside jungle. They have a lot of wards down there. DRX trying to move in to start to contest, but there is no vision for them down around the dragons. One thing at least working for Rogue is the fact that because it was such a late first dragon take, it's not like they're staring down the barrel of an early soul or anything like that. They have time. You can try to get towards Death Gap. You can try to get towards level 16 on LeBlanc and really get that poke online. Comp has also hit his big 2-item spike. Caitlyn, though, pushing towards IE, which is very, very scary. And we'll see if DRX can find a pick here.
Odoamne on the front, soaking up the bullets. Deft firing them off. Gale Force in, Nedjack out. Headshot goes through. Ace in the hole, blocked by Comp, but Odoamne now can't fight. That's your frontliner, that's your team fighter, that's your engage, and he's got to go back and heal. So DRX, off of some aggressive shooting there from Deft, they're going to get their first inhibitor.
Rogue's going to try to find it here. Odo almost has Mega Gnar. They're going.
They're ready to look for it, but Malrang's the one who's been found. DRX, shut that down.
It's just clean from DRX. They don't even go for the 5v5. They're constantly looking for picks, and Rogue is giving it to them. DRX are so good at finding these windows of opportunity, and they found another one.
There's the Mega Gnar ulti coming out from Zeka as Larson stuck in the Hextech ultimatum, and Pioshik kills him next. Odoamne tries to get back with the flashback over the wall, but DRX get 4 more bodies.
DRX are running away with it. They are crushing through Rogue here. The kills are theirs. The Baron will be theirs as well. 23 minutes in. DRX are crushing this game.
It's nothing but a stomp from the side of DRX. From start to finish, they have not given Rogue a single window, and it feels like that they have found the formula to shut this team down. A Baron is secured. A 9,000 gold lead is the difference between DRX and Rogue.
Zeka just laying in wait. As soon as they come over the wall there, in he goes, Megan R ult, barrels ulti over the top, and they just pile in kill after kill here. They had already taken down Malrang to preempt the TP play. Rogue at the very least will steal away a dragon, and this should be a bounty, so they do get a bit of gold, but it is more than 8,000 in the lead. Now pick.
Larson, nice. They pop the AD carry. They slow the war machine, but now Larson's got to be careful. It's Zeka waiting to go after him, trying to get the E2, not going to find it. Kingen goes in, and a nice kick to take him down. But now Trimby's got to try to get away. Second E2 from Zeka, not going to find the target. Kingen still doing some DPS here to the front line. Zeka goes in, and that time he gets his man. Pioshik still in hot pursuit, and Kingen has the vengeance to exact. Rogue are aced. The game is over. The tie is broken, and DRX win the group.
Zeka goes off 9-0-3 on the Silas, and DRX makes short work of Rogue.